Can an executor sell estate property without permission from the heirs? This is one of the most common probate questions I hear from families that I help, and it's also one of the biggest sources of family conflict. I'm Ryan Smith. I'm a licensed real estate broker and certified probate expert here in North Carolina. Here's the legal side. In North Carolina, it depends on what the will says and what authority you have. If the will gives the executor full power to sell or authority to sell real estate without court approval, then in many cases, yes, the executor can legally sell estate property. Then in many cases, yes, the executor can legally sell estate property without formal heir permission. Once the court issues letters testamentary, the executor has legal authority to act on behalf of the estate, and in many situations, they don't need heir signatures to close a sale. As long as you're acting within the powers of the will and in the best interest of the estate. Now, if the will does not grant power to sell, the executor genuinely needs court approval. And that requires a petition to the clerk of court. At that point, heirs are notified and they have the right to object. Once the court does grant authority, the sale can proceed. And just to be clear, that's court approval, not heir approval to move forward. Now, if there is no will, you're serving as an administrator versus an executor. And in most cases, administrators must obtain court approval before selling real estate. So legally, the answer is simple. It depends on what authority the will or the court gives you. Now, here's the practical answer. Just because you legally can sell without permission doesn't mean that you should. Selling without communication almost always creates conflict. Someone feels blindsided, someone questions the price, someone thinks the sale was rushed or mishandled. And when heirs get upset, they can make your role as executor or administrator very difficult. They can actually demand accountings, they can challenge decisions or file objections or ask the court to intervene. And needless to say, all that costs time and money and a lot of stress for everyone involved. So my recommendation is simple. Even if you don't legally need permission, get everyone on the same page before you sell. In my experience, here's what I see work most often. Communicate early. Explain to everyone why selling makes sense. Get the property appraised. That creates an objective baseline and at least helps reduce second guessing. Explain the process, including how an agent is chosen, how offers are evaluated, how decisions are made about which offer is ultimately going to be accepted or is accepted. Give all the heirs a chance to weigh in. If anyone wants to purchase the property at fair market value, give them the opportunity to do that, and with court approval if necessary. So keep notes, keep documents, keep records of the agreements and disagreements, document everything you do, and if you do all this, and what if an heir still objects? If you have legal authority, their objection does not automatically stop the sale, but it may trigger an additional court review. And in that situation, just make sure you document your reasoning. Show that you're acting in the best interest of the estate, not ignoring the heirs. If an objection raises a valid concern, take it seriously. Sometimes adjusting the plan is ultimately the right move. And so here's the takeaway. Legal authority and practical wisdom are not the same thing. You may have the legal right to sell without heir permission, but the smart move is to bring everyone along in the process. If you're an executor in North Carolina, if you're trying to navigate an estate property with these family dynamics, this is exactly what I help with. So this information is general. It's not legal advice. Every estate is different. I always recommend speaking with an attorney that's specialized in probate. And of course, my contact information is in the description below. Feel free to reach out anytime and I would be happy to help. Thanks for watching.